Okay, so today I want to talk about the flawed premise of Boruto and how I think it ended up to be the way it is now. Now, I'm going to talk about the major reason why I think Boruto is flawed and then some suggestions on how I would have fixed it as if I was a producer of the show. So, Boruto depends on following the children of the previous incarnation of the series. We follow the children of iconic characters, so the only reason we end up caring about these characters is because of who their parents are. And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike any of the kids, but their hooks are that we know who their parents are, and their parents are basically gods. So, the stakes of destruction have to be so great because their parents are god-level threats. And honestly, if there wasn't enough plot holes in the original Shippuden and original Naruto, Boruto just adds a challenge to itself by having to prevent more plot holes from questioning why someone else wouldn't prevent any of the stakes that would happen in Boruto. Like, the only reason the power scaling in Boruto is so insane is because they need to make sure nobody in the current incarnation of the series is strong enough to defeat it, so it's not like a big challenge. On top of it, they added other things to prevent threats from happening in the story. Ino is literally monitoring the whole city to prevent conflict from entering it, so there's enough hurdles to dodge if you want to write in an outsider threat, which makes the current biggest threats the kids of these parents, who we know wouldn't pull anything insane. The audience would not like to see Sasuke leave the village again as a 40-year-old man with a wife and child. Wait. The current problem with Boruto is that there's like 800 hoops that must be jumped to create an interesting story during the period it takes place in. To create an interesting story, you have to go through all of these hoops that would be set up because you're following the premise that this is the children of the Naruto characters. This also leads to debates about lineages and power scaling, and I am very mixed about this because sometimes it can suck the life out of a frickin' story, dude. Like, I love the idea of powerful characters. I generally like the idea of second generations in terms of fandom creations. I generally don't like it coming from the main creators because it solidifies blood matchups for these characters. One of the original biggest criticisms for OG Naruto was the fact of how much lineages affected the current story. For example, one of the ones that I see a lot is that Naruto, as much as he was an underdog and part of the series, and I would argue he's more of like someone who was like cursed essentially, but regardless, he was the son of the previous Hokage, and his mother was an Uzumaki. So no matter what, Naruto would have a set of predetermined skills, like an insane chakra pool and the interesting hair colors. Regardless, these children have to be ninja, and they have to have predetermined skills. That's generally going to be non-negotiable. There's even an arc with Himawari on whether or not she wants to become a shinobi. Regardless, I still love the Naruto series, even though it has a lot of flaws. It will have periods of saying this character is strong and then walking back on them. Naruto is based on the idea that strength can come from anyone, but Naruto himself is the progeny of two powerful ninjas and harbors a tail beast. R.I.P. to my nerfed king. Now let's pretend like the studio came to me and they said, Lee, please make a follow-up to Shippuden. I would have two main suggestions. One would be Boruto, and I know I just railed against Boruto, but having children is an interesting angle for these characters. Starting families is a major decision for anyone, but especially veterans of a war. Naruto and Sasuke are both orphans who have to learn how to be parents without any examples themselves. And worse, they don't have anyone to rely on in that little period between being an adult and a child. And a lot of ninja have little connection, or at least a good connection, to their parents other than Sakura, even though her parents are only anime canon, I'm pretty sure. But regardless, it's still interesting to explore what happens to these characters after Shippuden. I honestly would find it interesting to see a series that follows their struggles growing into adults at a time where things are slowly becoming more stable. If the novels are anything to go off of, there's still far-reaching threats that are able to be explored in Naruto after the final battle. There are still interpersonal conflicts to be explored and training to be done. I don't think a follow-up series to Naruto would be a waste, especially since Shippuden really did expand on things in original Naruto. So it means that these people are not incapable of creating a good follow-up story to what we already have. Although I am kind of biased towards what I just said, because personally right now, I would love a series that explores someone going from teen to adult, because I am in that period of my life. And I would love to see my little lovable scrunklies, Sakura, Naruto, and occasionally Sasuke going through these kind of interesting conflicts. However, this is what I actually want to explore. So maybe we should take what we like from Naruto that could still be explored and keep going with it. So if I was a producer, I would have suggestions for prequels. Since the past really does haunt the Naruto series with how much it affects the main duo of Sasuke and Naruto. They were born into worlds against them. So I have 3 main suggestions for a sequel series. Number 1. Close your eyes and imagine a prequel on Minato. Well, open your eyes. Since there is a Minato spinoff where he is pretty badass and powerful, I can't lie. However, it's only a single spinoff series. Personally, I would love to see more development of both Minato and Kushina's relationship or his responsibilities as Hokage. And honestly, I would love to see what it was like existing around that time and see what kind of ninja are like going around. This is an era of powerful ninja. There is surely a place for new characters, including tragic characters we know will die. Like, imagine that we kind of get glimpses of this young Genin in a Jonin squad who's an Uchiha, who's excited to activate their dojutsu. And then we as the audience would have this sinking feeling that like, oh dang, this kid's gonna die. And, give more stakes to what happens in the original Naruto series. But that's all for a Minato Kushina follow-up. The second one is something I am incredibly biased towards. But imagine if there was a short series following Zabuza and Haku, because they are some of my personal favorites and I love the Land of Waves arc a lot. Like, imagine a drama following this strange dynamic of found family, and their deaths were so emotional, they just wanted to, die for each other, essentially. It's so toxic and horrible, and I think it would make an amazing drama, honestly. Imagine if we learned more about how they came to work under Gato. What is Haku's past? He was shown starving on the streets before Zabuza, and Zabuza encouraged him to be violent. His story shows that he has immense powers, but it's not fully examined, especially since we don't get that many Ice Release characters in the series. And also, this is a personal one, but we don't know how old Haku is. We still have no fucking clue how old he is relative to Zabuza or even his own age in general. I looked on the Naruto wiki and it said he was 15, but I couldn't see anywhere where that was said. So I would personally just like a deeper dive into Zabuza. He would be an amazing toxic character, and I swear I'm not just coping because I was rewatching the Land of Waves arc as I was writing the script. And here is an obligatory third option, which is going to be an Itachi series. People fucking love Itachi so goddamn much. It wouldn't be surprising to follow this character, especially since a lot of people love him. He has a very iconic look. And maybe we could understand what was going on with this chakra illness that it doesn't really seem he tried to cure at all. Ultimately, I think if they wanted a true follow-up to Naruto, it would be better to go back in time with a prequel instead of spawning a new cast. I feel like it would have been better received, even if it had super cheap animation, which a lot of people already hate the animation of Boruto. So, yeah. Looking back, OG Naruto had some rather rudimentary animation that required as few frames as possible at times, and it is still beloved, at least by me. And this is my channel. But regardless, we have Boruto, and honestly, it isn't a complete waste of time. There are surely worse anime out there. Like, I would argue High Rise Invasion was a waste of my time, and there was more underaged underwear shots than I ever needed to see. And honestly, let's not pretend that Boruto's predecessor Naruto was always a masterpiece. I still have a lot of criticism for Shippuden and Naruto, but let's leave on a positive note. The positive note is that I do love Naruto. I have too many keychains. I did an unboxing on my channel a long time ago. It has been hidden and scrubbed from the page because my voice sounded strange while doing it. And yes, it was definitely stranger than it sounds now. Personally, one of the things I love about Boruto is the characters, which is gonna seem strange since I probably spent the first 5 minutes of this video criticizing them. And while I'm not a major fan of Boruto, I love some of the characters more than I like characters from OG Naruto. Like, easily in my top 10 is Himawari, who only exists in Boruto because, you know, she had to be created by Boruto and Hinata. I also like a lot of adult Team 12. Like, they're not bad at all. I also like that they animated Sasuke Retsudan, even though I have my criticisms of that too, which might be coming out in another video. Honestly, I thought I filmed one where I talked about Sasuke Retsudan, and then I guess I didn't. So expect that to be coming up soon because I have a lot of opinions on that, and most of them are good, and one of them is one that gets me very angry every time something like it comes up. Anyways, thank you for listening to me yap. I hope you have a good one. Electrified Water out.